Peace, love, and light, family. Welcome to my page, 5666 Ratio Network. Today is April 10th, 2026. In today's video, I will be exploring what private business interests do some U.S. politicians have with the Middle Eastern countries that Iran is currently attacking or opposing. Do U.S. politicians have business ties in the Middle East? The money behind the conflict. As tensions rise in the Middle East and Iran confronts several U.S. allies in the region, some critics are asking an uncomfortable question. Do American political leaders or people close to them have private financial interests in the same countries involved in these conflicts? Today, I'm breaking down the major business ties, lobbying networks, and investment deals that connect U.S. political figures with Middle Eastern governments. Real estate and business deals. One of the most discussed examples involves former U.S. President Donald Trump and the Trump Organization. For years, the Trump family business has pursued luxury developments across the Persian Gulf region. These include Trump-branded towers in Dubai, golf resorts and luxury projects tied to investors in Saudi Arabia and Qatar, real estate partnerships with developers connected to Gulf governments. Critics argue that when political leaders have active business interests in countries their government works closely with, it can raise concerns about potential conflicts of interest. Supporters say these are simply private business ventures and not connected to policy decisions. Billion-dollar investment funds. Another major example involves Jared Kushner, former White House advisor and son-in-law to Donald Trump. After leaving government, Kushner launched an investment firm called Affinity Partners. The firm received a $2 billion investment from Saudi Arabia's Sovereign Wealth Fund, one of the largest government investment funds in the world. Much of the firm's funding reportedly comes from foreign governments in the Gulf region, including Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates. Critics say this raises ethical questions because Kushner previously played a major role in U.S. Middle East diplomacy. Lobbying and political influence. Beyond business deals, Middle Eastern governments also spend millions lobbying in Washington. Countries like Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Qatar regularly hire U.S. lobbying firms staffed by former politicians, diplomats, and political advisors. These lobbyists work to influence U.S. policy on issues like arms sales, sanctions, military cooperation, energy policy. Payments to lobbying firms representing Arab governments can reach tens of millions of dollars per year. Business and diplomatic roles overlapping. In some cases, business leaders with Middle East investments also take on diplomatic roles. For example, real estate developer Steve Witkoff later became a U.S. Special Envoy to the Middle East. Similarly, former U.S. military leaders and officials often move into private investment firms that operate heavily in Gulf markets. Former CIA Director and General David Petraeus now chairs the Middle East business division of the private equity firm KKR, which invests across the region. Critics call this the revolving door between government and global finance. Why this matters during conflict. These financial connections matter because Iran's regional conflicts involve several of these same countries. Iran is in strategic competition with Israel, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates. When the United States supports these allies militarily or economically, critics sometimes question whether private business interests could influence foreign policy decisions. However, there is no single piece of evidence proving that U.S. policy is directly controlled by those financial ties. So, what's the reality? The Middle East is one of the world's richest regions for oil, investment funds, and large infrastructure projects. That wealth has created deep connections between Gulf governments, global investors, and political figures in Washington. Some experts say these relationships are a normal part of international business. Others believe they create potential conflicts of interest that deserve closer scrutiny. Either way, the intersection of politics, diplomacy, and billion-dollar business deals continues to shape the global conversation around the Middle East. If you want more deep dive explanations about geopolitics, global conflicts, and the money behind world events, subscribe and like for more investigative breakdowns. Peace, love, and light, family.